Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Numi Legacy. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you love discovering the stories behind old coins, learning what makes them special, and exploring coins that could be worth much more than their face value, then you're in the right place. Today we have three fascinating British coins to explore together. The 1968 United Kingdom 10 new pence, the 1969 United Kingdom 10 new pence, and the 1948 King George VI Shilling. At first glance, these coins may look ordinary, but each one carries a unique story that has fascinated collectors for decades. Now here's something that might surprise you. Thousands of people own these coins, yet only a small number know what they actually represent, or why collectors are willing to pay far more than their original value. Stay with me until the end, because we'll answer all of those questions. Let's begin with the first coin in our collection, the 1968 10 new pence. When you hold this coin in your hand, you're not just holding a piece of metal. You're holding a small piece of British history. Introduced during a period of major change in the United Kingdom's currency system, this coin marked the beginning of a new chapter that millions of people experienced. On the front of the coin, you'll find the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Her portrait represents stability, continuity, and one of the longest reigns in British history. Surrounding the portrait is a carefully designed inscription that reflects the traditions of the monarchy and the nation's rich heritage. Turn the coin over, and you'll see a striking crown design with the denomination 10 new pence. The crown symbolizes authority, tradition, and the long history of the British crown, while the clean and balanced design reflects the confidence of a country entering a modern era. But did you know that not every 1968 10 new pence coin is equally desirable? Some examples attract much more attention from collectors than others, and the reasons might surprise you. So, what makes the 1968 United Kingdom 10 new pence so special? At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin, but once you start looking closely, you'll realize there's much more to discover. First, the design of the coin. Another interesting feature is the size of this coin. Many people are surprised to learn that the original 10 new pence was much larger than the modern 10 pence coin used today. Its impressive size gave it a solid premium feel, making it instantly recognizable in everyday use. But here's where things become even more interesting. Although millions of these coins were produced, not all of them have survived in the same condition. Most spent years passing from one pocket to another, gradually losing their original shine and fine details. Finding a 1968 example with sharp details, bright surfaces, and very little wear has become increasingly difficult, which is one reason collectors value high-quality examples. Of course, condition isn't the only thing collectors pay attention to. They also carefully inspect the coin for unusual minting errors, striking differences, or other features that make one example stand out from millions of others. These small details can completely change a coin's desirability. Now let's talk about value. A well-circulated 1968 10 new pence is usually worth only a modest amount above its face value. However, coins that remain in exceptional uncirculated condition or display unusual collectible characteristics can sell for considerably higher prices, especially when demand from collectors is strong. That's why many collectors never judge a coin by its age alone. They judge it by its quality, rarity, and overall appeal. So, if you happen to own one of these coins, don't rush to spend it. Take a few moments to examine it carefully. Look at the portrait, the lettering, the edges, and the overall condition. You may discover details that make your coin far more interesting than you first imagined. And now, it's time to compare it with the next year's issue. At first glance, the 1969 10 new pence appears almost identical. But is it really the same? The answer might surprise you. Many people place this coin next to the 1968 version and immediately think they're exactly the same. But for collectors, every date tells its own story. Just like the previous coin, the front features the graceful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The detailed inscription around the portrait reflects the nation's respect for its royal heritage. On the reverse, you'll once again find the impressive crown design above the words 10 new pence. So, if the design is almost identical, why do collectors still search for the 1969 issue? The answer is simple. Every year of issue becomes part of a coin's identity. Collectors often try to build complete date sets, which means they need one coin from every year. That's why a 1969 coin has its own place in many collections, even if it looks very similar to the 1968 version. Another reason is condition. A coin that has been carefully preserved for decades, with its original shine and crisp details, is always more attractive than one that has seen years of heavy circulation. Sometimes, two coins with the same date can have completely different values, simply because one is in much better condition than the other. Discovering something unusual is one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting, and it's what keeps many collectors searching through old collections and coin jars. As for value, a circulated 1969 10 new pence is generally affordable, making it a great coin for beginners. However, examples in outstanding condition, or those with collectible minting characteristics, can command much stronger prices in the collector market. Now, we're about to move to a coin that takes us even further back in history, a coin connected to King George VI and a very different era of Britain. Now we've reached the oldest and perhaps the most intriguing coin in today's collection, the 1948 King George VI Shilling. Unlike the two 10 new pence coins, this shilling belongs to an earlier chapter of British history, giving it a completely different character and appeal. The moment you hold this coin, you can feel that you're looking at something from another era. Every detail tells a story of the people who once used it in their daily lives. On the front, you'll see the portrait of King George VI. His calm and dignified appearance reflects a monarch who ruled during one of the most important periods in modern history. Around his portrait is the royal inscription, a reminder of Britain's long-standing traditions and the importance of the crown. Now let's turn the coin over. The reverse features the English crest, a design that symbolizes strength, honor, and the proud heritage of the United Kingdom. The detailed artwork makes this coin stand out, and it's one of the reasons collectors admire it even today. Another feature that catches many collectors' attention is the IND IMP inscription. For many people, these letters spark curiosity the first time they notice them. They represent an important part of the coin's identity and remind collectors of Britain's historical connections during that period. It's a small detail, but one that often starts conversations among coin enthusiasts. When it comes to value, this shilling can vary greatly depending on its condition. A coin that has been heavily circulated may be worth only a modest premium, while one with sharp details, attractive surfaces, and minimal wear can be much more desirable. If a collector discovers an exceptionally well-preserved example, its value can increase significantly. What makes this shilling truly special isn't just its monetary value, it's the history it carries. Holding it is like holding a small piece of the past, connecting us to a different generation and reminding us how coins preserve stories long after they stop circulating. So after exploring all three coins, one important question remains. Which of these coins offers the greatest appeal to collectors today? And if you had all three in your collection, which one should you protect the most? After exploring these three remarkable British coins, it's clear that each one has its own unique place in the history of the United Kingdom. The 1968 10 new pence represents the beginning of a new chapter in British currency. It reminds us of a time when the country embraced a modern decimal system while preserving its rich traditions. The 1969 10 new pence continued that journey. Although it looks very similar to the 1968 issue, it remains an important coin for collectors who enjoy building complete date collections and preserving pieces of Britain's monetary history. Finally, the 1948 King George VI Shilling stands as a symbol of an earlier generation. So, which of these coins is the most valuable? The answer depends on several important factors: the coin's condition, its rarity, collector demand, and any unusual features or minting varieties all play a major role in determining its value. Two coins with the same date can have very different prices, simply because one has been preserved much better than the other. That's why experienced collectors always take their time before judging a coin. They examine every detail, from the portrait and lettering to the overall appearance. Sometimes, the smallest difference can make the biggest impact. If you have any of these coins at home, don't rush to spend them without a closer look. Now I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through British coin history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Numi Legacy, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another exciting coin story, hidden value, or collector's guide. See you in the next video.